Hello everyone, Silent here and welcome back to another Bedrock Edition tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to build a bedrock block farm in vanilla survival with no cheats, hacks, or anything crazy like that. You heard that correctly, a bedrock block farm for survival Minecraft. It won't give you a ton of bedrock blocks, but anything is better than nothing. This is an extremely simple and easy to build bedrock block farm, and we've actually had these on Bedrock Edition for quite a long time. However, in recent updates, they have broken due to bedrock removal methods being patched out of the game. However, this new method was recently discovered by CMax, and this is incredibly straightforward and easy to build. We're going to do a deep dive on this, so that way you understand all the mechanics behind it, because it's actually really cool, and then I'll be showing you how to get yourself some bedrock in vanilla survival. Before I show you how to build the bedrock block farm, you should understand some of the mechanics behind it, because it's actually pretty cool. So to get yourself a bedrock item, the first step is to figure out how to actually break bedrock reliably and quickly. There's a bunch of terrible methods for breaking bedrock that just don't work that well. However, there is one mechanic with the end crystal that is really interesting. It always has fire underneath it if there's actually a block underneath it. Like, no matter what, you cannot put a block right there. As you see, I'm placing obsidian. That obsidian is getting immediately replaced by that piece of fire. This is a pretty stable mechanic that's been in Bedrock Edition for a long time. So we can actually push in crystals using pistons into a piece of bedrock, and that will delete the bedrock itself. So this is the mechanic that we're using to actually break the bedrock block, and of course we can continue pushing that in crystal. We also need a way to break the end portal tiles themselves, because those are part of the end fountain and they gotta go. Luckily, we can use the same mechanic using the end crystal fire, and this is actually the same mechanic that we've been using for a couple of years to deal with those portals. We can just get rid of them using that fire. And crystals love having fire underneath them so much that you can build a cursed item like this, and it's really cool. Now keep in mind, this fire mechanic for the end crystals only works in the end dimension. The end fountain is absolutely key to this entire operation, because no matter what you do to this end fountain, you can always regenerate it using some end crystals when you resummon a new dragon. So when you summon it, it regenerates, and then you can destroy it and do whatever you want to it, and if you interrupt that summoning, it'll actually regenerate fully again. Regenerating the end fountain is the prime mechanic of this entire operation. So essentially what we're doing is we're breaking some of the bedrock and then regenerating the portal, pushing in a block where the bedrock was, and then blowing up the entire thing. As we blow up that end stone, the portal is regenerating, and right when it regenerates, that end stone would pop off as an item, but instead of being end stone, it's actually bedrock. So this method actually does work for giving you a bedrock block. It is kind of crazy, but it does work. Huge shout out to CMax for designing and building this bedrock block farm. They uploaded this to their channel roughly a month or so ago, and I just got wind of it a few days ago, so I reached out to them and they gave me permission to showcase it here on the channel, and this is overall just a really fun little redstone build. These things are super painful to design and actually get working, because the mechanics are kind of weird, and I know how painful these things can be to get working. So again, huge shout out to CMax. You can check out their original video. Links are everywhere. Real quick, before you build this farm, if you are playing on a server or multiplayer realm or anything like that, talk to your server admins and moderators before ever trying to get bedrock and survival, because it might be illegal and you probably don't want to get banned. And also, like, please don't troll your friends. It would probably be really funny, but only for you. And then you might get banned. So use bedrock responsibly. And let's hop into the tutorial, shall we? Once you know all the mechanics, this thing will make a lot more sense for the ways that we are building it. So there's a materials list down in the description of the video. That way you know everything you need to build. Bring extra materials, especially more end crystals, because you only get like 1 to 2 to 3 pieces of bedrock per use of the farm. So you're going to need to build it multiple times if you actually want to get a lot of bedrock. So first things first, you need to clear out some room around the central portal in the end dimension. You need to kill the dragon, all that good stuff. I've cleared out way more room than is necessary here, just so you can actually see what's happening. And you also need to get yourself a locator map. We need to build this farm going from the north to south, or from the west to east. It is a directional farm, and we're going to be building it on the west. So if you face towards the top of the map, that is the north. If we turn to our left over here, as you can see, that is west. So we're going to be starting from this side of the end portal. The first thing that we're going to do is go underneath the portal and find the center of it. It's a 5x5, so that's very easy, and also your coordinates should be 0, 0. We're just going to place a block right there at 0, 0, and then we need 3 pieces of obsidian in these locations right here, 1 piece of obsidian down like so, and then we need another piece of obsidian right here. This doesn't make sense right now, but it will later on in the build. Grab yourself a temporary block and place it right there, and then we need ourselves 3 pieces of obsidian in these areas, and then get ourselves 1 more temporary block and another piece of obsidian right there. So we're going to place redstone and pistons on all of this stuff later on, but if we build that right now, it's going to get blown up. Now make sure you're building on the left side of the end portal or the west side. We're going to grab ourselves some more obsidian and place in 1 obsidian block right there, another one there, another one there, a temporary block, and then another one up like so for that general shape. We're also going to go ahead and grab some temporary blocks and place them going across off of that piece of obsidian so that they are right here in this area. This allows us to have fire on top of those blocks and break the bedrock that is right there. And now for the fun part, we get to break this portal. So go to the left side over here and place in 2 pistons facing towards the east. That direction should be east. And now we're going to place in ourselves an end crystal right here and a button to power that. Once you power that, this thing is not going to move. For some reason, you need to log out of the game and then log back in. And once you relog, you'll be able to push that thing. Now that we're back in the game, just press that button, and as you can see, that end crystal is moving, and then just power the back one, power the front one, and just walk this across until we've broken these 3 pieces of portal. You'll need a temporary block right there, but this is super quick and dead simple. So once you've broken all 3 of those, go ahead and remove all of this stuff right here, break that fire, and then carefully from a distance break that end crystal. Now that we have those 3 portals removed, we're going to go ahead and break out this piece of end stone right here, place in ourselves an end crystal, and then get ourselves 2 pistons right here, power the front one. Again, it's not going to move, so you got to log out of the game and log back in. Now that we're back in the game, power that front piston. Our blocks underneath it should be visible, and there should be fire on top of them. And as you can see, we're going to be breaking these 3 pieces of bedrock. So this is super straightforward. All you got to do is the steps that we did before, and of course you'll need a temporary block in there, and basically we just need to go until we've broken out this 3rd piece of bedrock. However, we're going to push it 1 more time after that so that the end crystal is actually lined up in this block instead of being over 2 blocks. And now go ahead and remove these blocks and those pistons, and we're actually going to break out all of this fire, break out these 2 temporary blocks right here, and then place in 2 pieces of temporary obsidian. We're going to place another end crystal right there and another one right there so that we have 3 in a row. You'll only be able to place in this middle one if this guy gets pushed all the way to the right, so that's why we need that double piston activation. So now go ahead and break out this piece of obsidian, that one, and this temporary block right here, and you should have 3 floating death crystals. And now it's time for the fun part. Go ahead and grab in yourself 4 pieces of redstone dust right here, put in yourself 3 pistons in front of those redstone like so, and a button right here, piece of TNT right there, button right there, place in a button right here, and then you need in 3 pieces of a piston facing forwards like so. We also need a couple pieces of redstone on top of them. I'd recommend rewatching this part of the video a couple times over. That way you do it correctly the first time, because you kind of have to act quickly. We're going to be summoning a dragon, pushing a couple of buttons, blowing stuff up, and then running away, and then getting some bedrock out of it. So all you need to do is place in an end crystal on all 4 of the cardinal directions of your end portal. Pretty similar. Once you place in those 3, that's it. Place in this button, that's going to remove those bedrock. Press this button, that's going to push in the end stone, and then press the TNT pretty quickly. That's going to blow everything up, deal a lot of damage, break our end stone, and then that should give us a piece of bedrock if you get lucky. It doesn't appear to have this time, however, it will most of the time. As you can see, these 3 pieces of bedrock are missing. However, the entire portal is regenerated, and this is a sign that it is actually working. Now, some of those bedrock items might have gone through the portal, so you could check the overworld, but otherwise, this is kind of due to how unreliable TNT is on bedrock. It does not drop every single block that it destroys. So if it breaks 10 blocks, it can only drop like, 4 or 5 or something. It doesn't drop all 10, unlike on Java Edition. So if we had better TNT, we'd have better bedrock block farms. Kind of a mild gripe at this point in the game, but it's still. So if you check your world spawn, you might have some immortal end crystals, which I did not expect from this, and then you might also have a couple of items here, maybe even a piece of bedrock or another star from a previous tutorial. But yeah, this is something that I was not aware of. Kind of a cool side effect. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and just blow all this up. By the way, if you want to get rid of these guys, all you need to do is like shoot them with an arrow, and that's it. And if you turn off mob griefing, then they won't do any damage to the surroundings. So if you don't get lucky on the first attempt, you will have to rebuild it and break all of the bedrock and the portals. And that's why we built all of this stuff out of obsidian. That way you can do it multiple times without much hassle. So again, once you are ready to go, you just resummon it with these 3 end crystals right there. And then press that button to break the bedrock. Press that button to push in the end stone. And then press that button to light the TNT, and cross your fingers, hope that you get a couple pieces of bedrock. And as you can see, we actually did. There it is, a beautiful, beautiful piece of bedrock. So yeah, it's a bit of a fiddly farm, and it doesn't have the absolute best rates ever. You'll probably need to do this a couple dozen times. However, investing a little bit of end crystal and a little bit of TNT and a little bit of redstone and a little bit of time and a little bit of pistons is not a bad trade-off for a little bit of bedrock. So if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, of course, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm always trying to help you guys out as best as I possibly can. Show some massive amount of loves to C-Max for building and discovering this farm. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video, then drop a like as it helps out the video on the channel a ton. If you're new here, then maybe consider subscribing so you don't miss more illegal block farms. And otherwise, I'll see you guys down in the comment section in the next one. And then there was silence.